Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. We're going to talk about three categories of coins that you should actually be keeping track of because they might actually generate big profits. So the first category is like niches or categories where there isn't a dominant player yet, because that means all these small players, any of them could actually become the dominant player, and there could be more than one dominant player. Think about like consoles. You have Nintendo, you have Sony. So like there's not like one dominant player. There could be several. But this category doesn't have any dominant players. An example would be like gaming. You have Engine, you have Mana, you have VeChain, which is getting in July, and you also have XRP with Fortran. So like XRP is a very big coin, but it's not really a gaming-based coin, so it doesn't dominate the gaming market. Engine is probably the biggest player in the market right now, but it's still not dominant. It's not a top 10 or even top 20 coin. Funfair obviously is really, not Funfair, Player is obviously very, very small. So the gaming niche is one you should look at, and like Engine, Mana, like VeChain, XRP, those are actually things you should look at. And like with VeChain and XRP, the off projects are going to have their own coins, and you should actually look at those tokens, because eventually there will be one or two, maybe a couple of dominant players that come out of this. And with gaming, there's actually more transactions than there is with other categories of industry, because each player, everything he does is actually a transaction. So if you have like a transaction-based price, then gaming might actually be more profitable eventually than other niches. And there might be several, like there's several hit games. There can be just as many several hit coins as long as those games are very popular. So gaming is definitely something you actually want to look at. And those coins that I actually just mentioned, let's say like Engine, like Engine, VeChain, whatever coin basically builds off of VeChain to make that game popular. Like with XRP, whatever coin that they actually make with their whole X Spring investment thing, Mana, things like that, you really want to look at, because there will be some really popular and dominant games running on blockchain, and you don't want to miss out on that. So you want to look at that category. Another example of such a category is casinos. Obviously, there's some regulations, and the two to look at for casinos that I know about is CSC and Funfair. Now, which one you want to buy, that's really up to you. Do your own research. But you don't want to miss out on these coins because they represent an entire category, and there's going to be at least one or two winners from each of those categories. And since everyone's really small right now, if you actually hit on those couple of winners, you're going to gain big. And remember, there is a first mover advantage. So that's one area, that's one category of coins you don't want to miss. Category like industries and niches that don't have a major player yet, where several smaller players are vying for a piece of the pie. Not too many, but several smaller players are vying for a piece of the pie. Now, something you don't actually want to go into is like, I actually wouldn't really want to get into any Ethereum scaling coin, because one, when 2.0 comes out, I don't really know what the hell they're going to do. And two, there's so many. There's like 20 or 30. Like with gaming, I know maybe like 2 or 3, like 3 or 4 maybe real competitors. With Ethereum scaling, like in the last week, I've heard of like 20. So that's not really something I'm interested in investing in. Yes, there will be a couple of big winners, most likely, but they might only last a couple of years. And the thing is, like, there's too much competition. Whereas gaming, there's not as much competition in blockchain gaming. There's only a couple of big ones that I know of. And that's why I would actually look at that category. Category 2 is very interesting. They're country-specific coins. And the one, obviously, I can think of right now is ICX. It doesn't really matter if VeChain or Ethereum is dominating any other country. Korea itself can actually make ICX really, really big. And you do have the government support in Korea. So if you have other coins that are targeted towards one country, and that country's government seems very supportive, that coin is probably going to be a winner, at least in that country. Now, how big it'll actually be depends on how big the country is. Korea is not a small country. I mean, geographically, sure, they're small, but they have a lot of people. They have over 50 million people. So that's why I think ICX is a good investment, because it falls in that second category of country-specific coins. The third thing is, like, I call them like off-main industry coins. And they're basically like industries where there's already someone that's fairly dominant, but it's not a zero-sum game, and clients in that industry could actually use multiple solutions. Obvious examples are Teller and Oracle, Teller and Band Protocol. Chainlink is dominant right now in that category, but DeFi has actually said that they don't want to rely on one oracle. They want several oracles. So they want to use like, Band and Chainlink and maybe Teller as well. So the thing is, like, Band is and in these categories, you want to look for the smaller ones that aren't the dominant coin. And if they're like 30, 40 times smaller than the dominant coin, but like people have expressed interest in them, that's something to actually look at. So like Band and Teller, especially Band, because Binance is actually partnered with them, and DeFi has said, yeah, we probably want to use that oracle as well, because they don't have to grow as large as the dominant coin and still they can still make you a huge ROI. So Band or Teller, something like that. Another example is like, VeChain might actually be sucking up a lot of the partnerships in supply chain management, but they might have a hard time getting in the US. I hope they don't, but they might. So you have something like Origintrail or Track that could actually take part in certain industries that VeChain find hard to get in. So the thing is, like, that's also not like one company is gonna dominate everything. There's more than enough room for a couple of companies. So like you want to look in like kind of like off-main coins like Origin, maybe like like Origin, Walton Chain, things like that. That could actually provide you a big boost on return if they strike one or two clients. So the thing is, like, those are the three categories you want to look at. Basically niches that don't actually have a dominant coin yet, and that would be like Engine, that would be like Engine, like Player would be in that industry. I would recommend Engine over Player, by the way. I would like Engine, Player, and whatever that X Spring project, and also the VET project, and also Mana, like that kind of coin. A country-specific coin, and that would be ICX. I'm sure there's others, but I don't really know too many of them. And also the third category would be like industries where there's already one big player, but it's not a zero-sum game. And there can be a lot of coins that can actually work in conjunction with the main coin, kind of like Band or Teller. So let me know what you think. That's the episode for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.